Welcome to Haunt Weekly.
Hello everyone, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this is Haunt Weekly, a weekly podcast for the haunted attraction industry, covering everything from the large mega haunts to the small home haunts. Whether you're an actor, owner, or just aficionado, we hope to be the podcast for you. So, we're back. It's another bright and beautiful Sunday. Well, it will be when this goes live.
Yes.
So, how are you doing, Crystal? How have you been?
I'm doing good.
Doing good. Staying all haunty through the latter parts of our winter.
Yes. Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Getting ready to get back out there and back to work on it.
Yeah, as you know, as we've mentioned a few times on this podcast, we run a small home haunt. We usually take a few months to recuperate and recover a little bit after Halloween because we don't have as much construction to do usually.
Yeah.
So
get our planning nailed down, get our theme, all that stuff.
And also do things like, attend HAuNTcon and maybe South by Southwest, some haunty type conferences and so forth. Basically, we go when we try to, unwind a little bit from the haunt season, and we find it very useful because it lets us come back stronger when it is time to begin the grind of the work. But we have a lot we want to do this year.
Yes.
So, we have a very interesting topic today. This was one you suggested, Crystal.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, we've got the walls and we've got, a general idea how to build a layout. Who are you going to help to do all this stuff? What do you need?
Yeah, a haunt needs people.
Yes.
As it turns out. Even if you don't have a very actor-driven haunt, there are still people there. And that's the other thing is when we think of haunt and people, we think of actors.
Right.
And I guess that's partly because virtually everyone who works on a haunt puts on a mask or puts on the makeup and gets into the haunt at some point.
Right.
But there's a lot more that needs to be done with a haunt than just scare people.
Yes, there's a huge behind-the-scenes crew that work tirelessly to make everything come together. Mm-hmm. And we're going to touch on some of those, but not so much on the business side. It's not like the accountants and things. Yeah. But because, you need some business people too.
There's some accountants, some tax people and things like that. Yeah, these are the people that are unique to the haunt industry, at least unique to accountants and tax people. You need them no matter what business you're in.
Right.
Whether you're a consultant or whether you're a consultant running a tech firm or an advertising agency, you need those people. We're talking more about people specific to our industry and the roles that they take. Now, one thing I want to emphasize before we jump in is you don't necessarily need one person for each job.
Right. There's a lot of overlap, or people have skill sets that can fill multiple gaps.
Yeah, like you and I know as we go through this, we'll be thinking about our roles in the haunt. We're a two-person haunt at the highest level. We give each other, and we've assigned each other duties.
Right.
As we'll go over, I'm sure. But, they're just one of the many hats we wear. And that's kind of half the fun of owning a haunt is all the hats.
Right. And it's not only that, but as we've grown over the years, I've realized that I can't do everything, contrary to my initial beliefs. And then
No.
And then
You never thought that, sweetheart. No.
Are you saying I'm controlling? Maybe just a little.
Maybe a lot.
But anyway, so I've learned how to trust people with the vision and show them how to build things, and really grow to rely on people and know that they can do a great job. And that's something you have to realize as you get bigger and bigger, is that you're not going to be able to do everything by yourself. And it's a lot easier if you have help and people you can trust.
Yeah, and that is one of the things. It has to be people you trust.
Yeah.
It can be very, very difficult to build a haunt and to have these different roles and to sort of delegate some of these tasks without that high degree of trust.
Yeah.
And that's true whether you're paying them or not, for the record.
Yeah.
We're not even going to really discuss if these are paid or unpaid roles. That is something to think about, though.
Yeah. Now, I think in a professional haunted house, one of the big ones, these are definitely paid roles.
Yeah, the ones we're doing today.
The ones we're doing today.
And depending upon time, we may cover some other roles that have to be done and some things that you have to be thinking about.
Right.
Because we always have like the core content we want to get through in the 50 to 60 minutes we have.
Right.
But we always have buffer content in case, we run a little short.
Yeah.
And so and sometimes we even run through the buffer content on the news episodes, and then we just sit there and tap our thumbs for 10 minutes.
Yeah, like last week.
Like the last news podcast, yeah. But yeah, so let's go down our list a little bit here that we've got. Okay. The first person you thought of, and I think this is fitting because you took the lead on the show notes this time. Once again, mixing things up a little bit. I'm usually the show note dude here.
Yeah.
Is the owner.
Yes. Because you have to somebody who wants to put on the show and can have the resources to do it.
You need a head honcho. You need the decider. You need that person, or in some cases, people.
Yes.
At the top. A lot of haunts, and this is something I think is true in this region in particular, are group or family affairs. They're run by either a cabal of small, parties that are invested in it,
right?
Or they're run by like a husband and wife team, like a small family, like the 13th Gate,
right?
Or so on and so forth. So, but you've got to have someone at the top,
right?
Who is the authority.
Yes.
Now, one thing that we've done is that we're both owners.
Yeah.
But we give ourselves very specific ownership duties.
Yes.
And our duties are, you're the general on the inside of the haunt.
Uh-huh.
I'm the general on the outside.
Right.
And that is, I am the final decider on everything that happens outside that haunt. You are the final decider on everything that's inside the haunt.
Right.
You have lieutenants, you have people who help you.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, the buck stops with you. You are the final decision.
Right.
You should put that on your desk. Because all haunters have desks, right? This is the thing.
Yeah, I was just thinking I need a desk.
We need a desk. We need to put the placard on the desk for you. That's what we have to do. But yeah, and I find that to be very crucial because I've seen haunts and I've been to haunts where people don't really know who's in charge.
Yeah, and it makes things more difficult.
Or the person who is in charge is not engaged.
Right. You want somebody that not only you trust but has passion for the project.
Yeah. And look, if the actual owner is just a money man, that's fine.
Yeah.
He needs to appoint someone to play this role of owner / manager or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be like a house manager.
Yeah, you need, just like restaurants have managers, bars have managers.
Yeah.
You need someone like that. It can be the owner. It oftentimes is. Because you typically don't get into the haunt industry without a little bit of wanting to run a haunt.
Yeah.
But it happens.
It does. We've encountered, actually, I believe Kyle talked about a little bit. Yeah. Some of his experiences at some of the haunts that he
and we ran into
worked.
And we ran into some people at like HAuNTcon and so forth who really had no interest in haunting other than seeing it as a business opportunity.
Yeah.
If you are like that, that is fine. You write the checks. That is your job. You are the check person now. You hire this manager.
Yes, you hire a consultant or a manager to come in and help you give your audience something that they're going to really enjoy and want to come back to. Because otherwise it's not a viable business.
They have to be the owner. They have to be the decider. They have to own the decisions, basically. Yeah. And it's interesting. This just got me thinking. Most haunts I've been involved with or am familiar with the inner workings of have a very military-like structure in this regard.
Yeah.
You have a head general and owner.
Yeah.
You have lieutenants.
Yeah.
You have ground troops.
Yep.
And then you have support staff.
Right.
And speaking of that support staff...
Yes. One of the most important...
And most overlooked at the same time.
Most overlooked, but really important, is a haunt mom.
Or dad.
Yes.
We're being gender neutral here. Could totally be a dude.
Yes.
Or dudette. Doesn't matter.
Haunt mom or dad. Basically, this is the person who's going to take care of your actors' needs. They're going to plan out the snacks, drinks, make sure they're comfortable.
In real, I don't know how we survive without a dedicated haunt mom.
No. Basically, this is the person that's going to set up a green room.
Yeah.
For your actors to go and hang out. Make sure they got everything they need.
Well, it goes even a little bit beyond that.
Yeah.
If an actor begins to feel ill,
Right.
gets sick in the middle of a run, this was the person that's going to take care of them.
Right.
If an actor needs to go home early, call their family, or somehow, needs to do something, this is the person who's going to help them.
Right.
This is the general meet actor needs persons, and those needs can be physical, biological, emotional.
Right. It's also, they can step up if, an actor needs to take a break for a little bit. They can step in. They know all the roles. They can deal with people outside if, something's going on and one of the generals can't get to it.
Yeah.
So they are really the third person to go to if there's a problem.
And it's very important, I think, for this person to be removed from the hierarchy of the haunt completely.
Yeah.
They're not an owner, they're not a lieutenant, they're not a ground troop. They're not anything.
Right.
They're not that battle structure I just described does not exist to this person.
Right.
They do not ever get involved in that stuff. That's because they need to be a completely neutral party there to support everybody.
Yes. They can jump at a moment's notice. If on Halloween night we have trick-or-treaters come by and we run out of candy, they can make the store run to go get more candy. Because they're very essential, but also very flexible in that essential role.
If an actor is not happy in a spot, or they're having a disagreement with another actor, they can help sort it out sometimes, if it's interpersonal. I know that's usually the general's job, but stop and think about it. On a lot of these longer runs, you kind of need someone who's not an authority figure and can be a neutral mediator to help out. So, haunt moms have a variety of purposes, though, is the main thing.
Yeah.
And you need them. I really don't know how we survived with that one for so long. We've had one the past couple of years, and things have run about 100 times more smoothly.
Yes, we did have, someone taking care of the food and stuff, but great food, but it's better to have somebody who's available to do anything you need in an emergency situation.
And I guess that's almost the role of haunt mom. It's kind of a vice presidential role,
right,
where you're available. That is it.
Yes,
you are being paid, or being, you are supporting the haunt through your availability.
Right.
That's extremely important, and it's something that a lot of haunts either seem to have inadequate haunt mom support, and a lot of haunts, have none at all. I find when I am at a haunt that has a really, really good actor / staff community,
right, there's
a haunt mom or two. Or three.
Yeah. That's
the other thing, is these roles don't have to be filled by just one person sometimes. No. There's a really good haunt mom behind the scenes there. Yeah. That's what they do. They foster that community. They bake the cookies. They bring the food. They bring the drinks. They make sure the actors are feeling well. They take care of all the needs. If an actor has an incident inside the haunt where they maybe not hurt, but are scared or something and need to retreat for a little bit, that's what the haunt mom's there for.
Yeah, because people can have anxieties being around a lot of other people, and a haunt, you're gonna have a lot of people come through. Hopefully,
yeah.
That's kind of the goal. But
well, getting back into the more of the traditional structure of the haunt, the rider. This was interesting to me
because it's not always the owner. Because, like we said, there are some haunts that are run by business people purely for profit reasons. Not that all haunts don't have that in mind, but not everybody's a writer. They might have an idea of what could be a good story, but they don't know how to communicate it well to the customers.
Well, the writer role, I find, is important for several reasons. The first is they're the ones who are going to hammer out whatever story or theme you're going to have.
Right, your backstory.
They're going to be the ones who create your backstory. And a lot of haunts think, well, okay, that's just a few paragraphs.
Right.
Well, a really, really good writer will sit down there and will determine everything they can about the backstory, even if it's not printed, even if it never makes it anywhere.
Right.
They will hammer it out, so that way when the other creatives come through later, and we'll talk about them in a minute, they have a consistent vision of what goes where, and how it all ties together. Because basically, when I think of like the vision of a haunt, I think of the design of a haunt. You don't just go into your building and start putting up walls and go, yep, that looks right. No, you draw all that out.
Yeah, well, and I mean, the first thing, because I do, like you said, I do a lot on the inside.
Yeah.
But the first thing I have to have before I even think of where to put the first wall or how it's going to be decorated is a story.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. The writer is like an architect of the theme.
Yeah.
And is an architect of the field.
It's a very good way to put it, yes.
Just like, an architect puts what's going to be the house on the paper, the writer's putting the theme on the paper.
Right. And the other thing is if you wanted to, you could actually print up your backstory to sell.
Yeah.
You could have the writer do the full story if you wanted and sell it.
And that is one of those very, very easy things you can sell at merch too. High margin, very simple to do. And I don't see a lot of haunts doing it. Haunts don't sell books.
Nope.
And you can also distribute the larger story via social media. You can distribute ebooks online.
Right.
There's a million ways you can push it out there, either for money or just pure promotion. The choice is yours.
That kind of ties into the marketing.
Yeah, it does. And we're getting down to him.
Yeah.
There's, by the way, other than owner, I don't think there's any order to this. This list is kind of chaotic.
Yeah, well, everybody works together.
Absolutely.
Everybody works together, and you have to work together. Otherwise, you're not going to have that cohesive story running throughout.
Right.
You could have clowns in your 18th century castle.
Which actually was talked about at HAuNTcon, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was. I didn't hear that. I just pulled something ridiculous.
I think that actually was a direct quote from like Larry Pickle or something. He was condemning it. He was condemning it, if I remember correctly.
Sorry if that's the case, but
she was not in that talk. I will verify that. That was me who attended that one. But yeah, I mean, you have to have someone there whose responsibility is to write this out, even if you're not going to use it in any capacity, because you need that well-written theme in order to be able to carry forward. And I mean, I know a lot of haunts build their theme on a sentence or two, and we should definitely do a whole podcast on backstory writing.
Yeah.
We need to put that in the doc.
I've got it open right now.
Yeah, please put that in there for me. Because I know we have like 80 bajillion things in there, and we throw in like 2 more every episode.
I know.
It's like who was it? Sisyphus, right? In hell, rolling the stone up. That's how it feels. Like, we almost got the stone up. We're almost done with all the crap.
There's a whole bunch more.
Damn it. That's how it feels with this.
Yeah.
But anyways, you need that writer. You need that consistent story. And it doesn't have to be a professional writer. It just has to be someone who is very good at telling a story for you.
Right.
And specifically telling a story that translates well to a haunt.
Yes.
Okay. Creative director / designer.
Yes.
This is the person who has the sometimes unenviable task of taking the writer's theme and the writer's vision,
right,
and translating it into the design of the haunt.
Yeah.
Now, oftentimes these two are the same person. In a lot of haunts, your lead designer and your writer are the same person.
If not, they should be working very closely together.
Exactly. Like we actually divide that.
Yes.
You are primarily the creative designer.
Right.
I'm the writer.
Yes. Well, you started out in journalism and ended up in marketing, and I have a visual arts degree.
Yeah, so do the math, people. Do the math. Keep up.
You're really good at writing.
But you are right. We that relationship works because we do work so closely together.
Right.
And when it comes time to determine the theme, I don't just shut myself in my room and throw balls at the wall until I get it. We usually bounce ideas off one another and decide on a general direction.
Right.
And then I write out the more specific one and fill out the details. And those details, I find, even if I didn't intend them to be in the haunt, even if they were just for my own personal bemusement,
right,
sometimes they wind up in the haunt.
Well, yeah, because it's those little details that,
tie it all together,
Yeah, I try to design scenes, and I think everybody does this, for the different levels of people coming through your home. Mm-hmm. So you've got people who are just going to run through and not see anything. all the way to your other haunters who are going to come through and look at absolutely everything. So if you have an actor run that's clearly visible, or you have, something that just doesn't make sense in any way, they're going to notice that.
Yeah, and I, for me personally, the main task the creative director has, especially when we look at this particular list and the way we broke up these roles, is consistency.
Yeah.
You can't have clowns in the 18th century, 17th century castle.
Right.
It's that type of stuff. I know there are some haunts, like 13th Gate, that thrive on inconsistency.
Right.
But most haunts, especially ones that are not particularly huge, like 13th Gate can get away with it, because they're so darn big, they have consistency within their sections.
Right.
But not within the haunt as a whole. The thing about, like, our size haunts, and even, a couple times our size...
Like Mortuary usually tries to have a consistent theme.
Yeah.
At least they advertise a consistent theme.
And House of Shock did it last year, more or less, until you got to the caves. Everything was a fairly consistent theme. It was just, they broke it into 2 attractions.
Right. Yeah.
So that was how they got away with less consistency, was 2 attractions.
Right.
Which is not a bad idea.
No, it's not at all.
But yeah, the main thing is consistency. You want to make sure everything flows neatly into everything else. And if you're not going to have consistency, that the transitions aren't like super jarring.
Right.
Because there are some haunts where it's like you're in a Gothic library. Take a right, you're in a clown room.
Yeah.
Take a left from that, you're in a snake pit.
Yeah.
It's like the great movie ride at Disney, at MGM Studios and Disney World on Fast Forward. It's kind of bizarre. So yeah, I think the main is implementing what the writer put down and doing so in a consistent way.
Right.
Now, obviously, this consistency involves putting scares in. This consistency in...
Right. I mean, this is the person that's not only going to design where your customers, what the flow of the haunt is, but where your scares go and how everything looks to tie it together.
Yeah. This is basically anything visual with your haunt has to be approved by this person.
Yep.
They are working from what the writer said, and they, like I said, they might be the same person.
Yeah, and the writer might be the owner.
Exactly. Sometimes one person wears like 8 hats here.
Yes.
But basically, they're working from that theme that the writer handed them, and they are taking that and trying to make a haunt out of it that is consistent, that is has a good flow, has great scares, and works well for the actors. Okay, costume designer.
Yes, this costume designer works, of course, with the creative director and designer and the writer.
Yes.
Because their costumes, it's the clowns in the castle again. But, because you've got to have costumes that are...
appropriate.
Make sense to your story. If they don't make sense, it's a total disjunct and a total mess.
Yeah, and people get freaked out for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
And one of the things about costumes, and people tend to sell this role short.
Right.
And I would also obviously mention, I know we'll talk about it later down, is that this person's working closely with makeup, too, for obvious reasons. Very closely with the lead makeup artist. But your costume designer has to have a very similar aesthetic to the rest of the haunt. Like you said, you cannot be in a steam room or a boiler room and have everyone in suits.
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
You have to be thinking about that.
Right, and they have to know how to make a lot of different types of costumes and how to dirty them up. You actually watched the making of the Thriller video where they talked to the costume designer and that.
And it was very interesting because she talked about how for the zombie costumes what they did was they just bought a whole bunch of like Goodwill clothes.
Yeah.
She buried them in her backyard. And this was back in the 80s, so this was the garden weasel was a thing. I don't know who remembers what that was. It was.
I think it may still come on late night TV.
It's a thing that you roll along the ground to aerate soil. It's got little spikes, and you just roll it, and it punctures little holes in it. So while it's Barry, she's just rolling the garden weasel over it.
We should use garden weasels on like dummy bodies.
Yeah. You use
have
the
little
garden
flowers.
So, but I mean, you have to, and it's not even necessarily knowing how to make it. Sometimes it's better to acquire and know where to look to acquire.
Right.
Thrift shops are going to pop some tags and all that jazz. It's a lot. You might have better luck acquiring what you need rather than trying to make it.
Right. They're going to know where to get it.
Yes. But this person needs to know what to look for and how to make it all work together.
Yes, and they usually have some sewing abilities too.
At least a little bit.
Yep.
I'm not big on the idea that every costume designer at a haunt has to be like a professional seamstress or all that. Just like not every builder has to be a professional carpenter.
Well, and I think that, you're going to have your key characters and you're going to have your support characters. The support characters do not need as elaborate costumes as the key characters, but they all still have to have a cohesive feel.
Well, yeah. And just like your line actors, people who are outside and we're spending more time around people and brighter light.
Brighter light, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to need more detailed costumes than people who are in the dark, only going to be seen for a couple seconds, and probably by people who are running away from them.
Yep.
So, yeah. These are all things for that person to think about.
Right.
Okay, the lead actor.
Yes. This is the person who can recruit and train your actors. They are the best of the best in the acting in your haunt.
And sometimes, and this is just, I think this is a weird truth, the lead actor is not necessarily an actor within the haunt. Right. The actor could be support staff and could be the person behind the scenes coaching and moving people.
And you can also hire consultants for most of these roles. But yeah, the other thing that a lead actor is really good at is when interviewing potential actors, potential newbies. Mm-hmm. They can tell what type of role that person's going to thrive in.
Yeah. Yeah, and actor recruitment is a huge part of this job. It's probably the most important part in many ways. Yeah. Because it's better to have weak actors than to be understaffed.
Right.
A weak actor can still be given a role where they still scare people.
Well, not only that, but a weak actor can be paired up with a strong actor, and then that strong actor can bring the weak actor up.
Yeah, teach them the ropes, and also use the weaker actor in a distract and startle.
Right.
Here, you just mill about and shuffle here. Right. I'll come and get them around this side.
Right, and then eventually,
they'll learn, and hey, we can switch it up now.
We can switch up. Let's see how you do in this role.
Yeah. So yeah, but it's much. Ideally, I mean, here's the thing. I always remember this every year. The 13th Gate. We go back to them a lot.
Right.
They're one of the biggest, probably one of the best haunts in the area.
Yeah.
They interview something like 400 people every year. They have auditions. They take something like 200 to 250 every year.
Right.
Which means even if you're a mediocre actor, literally mediocre, mathematically mediocre, you can still get a job there.
Right.
And they are one of the most competitive.
You will probably be put behind a drop panel in Necropolis. I've seen you.
Yeah. But you see what I mean?
Yes.
That's the nature of this type of recruitment. This is what the lead actor has to deal with.
Knowing that.
Yeah.
I'm very afraid of the people who didn't get picked, and I'm sorry if you're listening.
Better luck next year.
Yeah. Yeah, whenever we were at HAuNTcon, I actually went to Scott Swenson's talk on this because he was head of recruitment for, I believe, Universal before he started the Vault. Yeah. Vault of Souls, rather.
Yep.
He had to recruit 1,000 people every year.
So if you got rejected from there...
Yeah, well, and the thing is that they... And this is something we'll go into later, I'm sure. I'm putting it on the thing now. is because you can double up your actors. You can train 2 actors for the same role so that they can take breaks.
One gets a coughing fit or needs a break.
It's not so bad at all, but if it's to the point they really need a break.
Yeah, but you need a lead actor. Is what it comes down to. You need a lead actor. You need a lead builder.
Yes.
You need someone who is going to be responsible for building the vision of the creative director and also the writer, and doing the building Cody stuff too. Yeah. Obviously, this person needs to be a relatively skilled carpenter.
Right.
But I find, and one thing we've been finding is that if they can work well with metal and other materials, so much the better. There's a lot of times 2x4 technology is inadequate, as much as we live and die by it at our haunt.
Yeah.
2x4 technology, 2x4 and gravity.
Yeah.
This haunt brought to you by the basic forces of nature.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lead builder is a very, very important position. And, you know, I think this is one every haunt pretty much gets right. I don't feel the need to spend too much time on it.
No.
But because I don't think
if you're using plastic walls, you might want to look at getting a lead builder.
You might, yeah. If you have one, fire your lead builder out of a cannon. But yeah. So I don't want to spend too much time on that one.
Right.
Marketing director.
Yes, this is something you know all about.
Yeah, and it really blows my mind how so many haunts don't do this. That there is no go-to person for marketing. They can have people helping them. They probably will need people helping them. But no one is making the marketing decisions. Right. I get it if it has to be the owner. I get it if it has to be someone that high up. But I always think if you're the owner, right? If you're wearing all these hats, you're helping with the build, you're helping, with the design, you're helping write your theme, you're doing all these things. If there's anything you should be able to offload effectively and give to someone else, it should be the marketing. Yeah. And the reason I say that is there are literally companies that will do this for you if needed. Yeah. If you really are in that position, your back is that against the wall, there are plenty of companies, even ones that specialize in haunted attraction promotion.
Well, and that's just the thing, is that a lot of people, even people with great business sense, don't know how to market effectively. Mm-hmm. And you can do everything from guerrilla marketing in your local neighborhood to big TV ads to hiring, social media experts. And
yeah, but whoever it is needs to be a decider on everything marketing related, from what ads to run, what image you present, what you say on social media. And the reason is all of these messages, all your ad types, all your flyers, your TV ads, your radio spots, your social media, everything has to be reinforcing everything else. Right. And if your social media is saying one thing and your radio ads are saying another, one of those two is going to go completely to waste. Yeah. So this is why there needs to be a central point. And if the owner, like I said, is feeling overwhelmed, either delegate it to someone with lots of marketing experience. Right. Just give them a budget and say, go get them, Tiger. Yeah. Or hire a firm to handle it for you.
Yeah, and as you get bigger, you're going to need to be able to delegate things like this. Because you're not going to be able to do it all.
Yeah. Key makeup artist.
Yes.
Yeah, this one interests me because I think we should have put this one up with the costume. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I quickly just
hammer this
threw out everything that I thought of as I thought of it. So anyways, sorry.
Makeup artist.
They should go with costume designers.
Yeah, definitely. But this one is interesting also because, as with marketer, I'm amazed how many haunts don't have this. Right. Including, to a degree, ours. This is an area we're lacking in.
We are. I'm hoping to find a key makeup artist.
This is on our hot list. Yeah. For next year because we don't have anyone right now.
We've got pretty much everything else.
Yeah, we got all the other positions filled by someone who has enough time to do it.
Yeah, and enough experience.
And this is another one of those things where if you're going to farm stuff out, right, this should be one of the first things on the list because the key makeup artist is going to be busiest when you're busiest as the owner.
Right, and your makeup staff is hardworking. They're going to get there hours before everybody else to set up. They actually make sure, your key makeup artist should know how to train people to do makeup, what the makeup should look like to keep that cohesive feel, and they're going to know how to keep people safe by sanitizing their brushes, by testing if people have a latex allergy or not. Yeah. They're going to know how to keep a shop clean.
Yeah. And
people say.
Yeah, for the love of God, I'm not calling out the local haunt that did this. But pay for the flipping supplies at least.
Yeah.
My God, man.
Yeah.
If you're going to have your key makeup person and all your makeup people work for free.
Well, it's not only that, but, I went to several of the makeup talks. And one of the things that I took away from that is that you really should be providing the makeup.
Yeah, I agree. I agree completely.
And the reason is if a makeup artist comes in and it is not spelled out in writing in a contract form, that if they bring their makeup and use it and they use it all, it's not getting reimbursed.
Yeah.
Because it's expensive.
It is.
There is that part. And also, if they've been using this at home and multiple people, you don't know what they could be given to your actors.
Yeah, I agree.
You don't know what their standards of cleanliness are at home.
Yeah, provide the makeup. That's a better way to put it. Provide the flipping makeup.
Yeah.
I have mixed enough feelings about haunts that are run on a volunteer basis.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I'm not saying never. I'm not, you know what I mean? And that's a whole other talk. Paid versus volunteer haunts, the advantages and drawbacks of both. If that's not on the list, put it. God, this is so sissy-pussy-in. We're never going to be done with this flipping podcast.
That's a good thing, right?
We'll let the listeners decide. But yeah, no, it really blows my mind, though, that you would that some haunts not only have their makeup artists work for free, but then don't reimburse or don't provide the makeup.
Right.
That's just, you point out some reasons it's unsafe.
Right. And
it's also just really, now they're paying to work for you.
Yeah.
Even if they really love makeup,
yeah,
that's a big, big burden to place on them.
Yeah.
Okay. Getting more onto the build side again, tech designers.
Yeah.
People who can run the haunt from the tech standpoint. This includes everything, in my book at least, includes everything from the various triggers and prop activations to any special effects you have,
right?
But also to your security systems, to your safety systems, your fire alarms and so forth.
Right. So basically, they set up the whole network that makes the computer brain of the haunt.
Yeah.
So at a flip of a switch, everything that's not emergency related shuts off. Emergency lights come on. Exits are clearly lit.
Yeah, if it goes through any kind of computerization at any point, you need to have the same guy working on it.
Yeah.
Or at least, if he's not working on it, at least be aware and knowledgeable about it.
Right.
And the reason is, one of the reasons, this was something that was pointed out actually in one of the talks at HAuNTcon, I think it was last year, not this year though, was that you don't want a situation where you have your fire alarm guy come in, rig the whole system, everything's going great, and then your tech guy comes in to wire the latest crazy special effect or whatever, and accidentally undoes something from the fire safety system, not realizing what they're doing, and then you fail your safety check.
Yeah. Because
some dumbass decided to plug in a fog machine. And I'm just using.
Sorry, no, I'm remembering. Okay, it's a horrible story, but it happened. There was a nursing home that in one room patients kept dying, and they found out that it was the janitor who was unplugging the breathing machine to plug in the floor buffer or whatever.
but situations like that can happen at home, and this is why you need that one person to go through it and to make sure that all the tech stuff, they're aware and conscious of it.
Right.
I mean, yes, safety is everyone's responsibility, but when it comes to how a haunt is wired, and you're looking at the actual wiring and the tech that operates it, you need one person who is the go-to.
Right.
This is the person who asks, what the hell's that wire?
Yeah.
And they go, that triggers or powers that.
Yeah.
And, I think when I was originally envisioning this, I had this person listed as an electrician.
Right.
Because electrician is part of this job.
Okay, so at least here in NOLA, and I think in a lot of other cities, you have to have a certified electrician to do any electrical work.
Yes, absolutely.
That to me is a different skill set than the tech person.
I agree.
So, no, but you definitely, and here, most people just hire consultants to do the electrical work.
The roughing.
Some of the rough out of the build, because you have to have a licensed contractor. You actually even have to have a licensed architect to do the drawings to get approved by the city for your permits.
Mm-hmm.
But all of those are consultants, and I don't see them becoming part of your haunt family. Yeah. This list is more of people who have the potential.
We say that, but we're in New Orleans, and remember the thing with the Mardi Gras floats.
Right.
Mardi Gras floats in this city, because they're all lighty and bright and sparkly, they each have to have an electrical certification.
Right.
And that can get expensive when you've got 20, 30, 40 floats in a parade.
Right.
Because you got to do one for each. So what a lot of the crews have done is taken to offering free membership to a certified electrician who just simply goes and does all the inspections and signs all the documents. It's actually pretty brilliant.
Yeah.
So if you can get one in your haunt family, do it.
Yes.
But yeah, you need that tech guy there who understands how things are wired, what goes into what part of the computer brain,
right,
and how it all fits together as one giant electrical computer, kind of cyberpunk puzzle. Yeah. And finally, last but definitely not least,
least on this,
last on this list, a safety lead. You need someone on the team who is the lead safety. This person
writes the emergency procedures.
Yes.
Make sure that they're being met and are in place, and that
you're
everything's
complying with all the laws.
Yeah.
And that you've got all your exits, your lighted signs, and all that stuff.
They'll probably be the one along with, your electrician, your contractor, your owner, meeting with the fire marshal.
Yes.
Because lots of those meetings have to happen.
Yes.
So.
Yeah, this is the person who knows how long your egress corridors are.
Right.
They know how long it is to an exit. They know this stuff, and they live and die by this.
Right, and they're also going to be the ones to interview and recruit your security team, because every haunt does need some security personnel, just in case people get violent, because sometimes it happens.
Yep. So the main thing here is, this is, I think, honestly, going back to jobs that can be farmed out.
Yeah.
This is a good one.
Yeah.
Because if you can get someone who is really knowledgeable about this,
mm-hmm.
it will take them far less time than it will take you to learn it.
Right.
I mean, we've done a lot of research into the safety for our own purposes and the safety codes and so forth for our own purposes. I would not consider us experts by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
But I think at the time that we have already sunk into it, and how much more we probably have to study and learn.
Yeah.
Farming this out to someone who really knows and can then work with all the other heads, the build head, the creative director, and obviously the fire marshal and others. That sounds like a really, really good thing to me. Because it's also the part of haunting that you kind of want to do least. Yeah,
and you need an expert who knows what they're doing, because otherwise it's not going to be as safe.
Yeah, and in addition to not wanting people to get hurt, you don't want to not be able to open because you fail to comply with some element of the fire code.
Right.
This is the person who's going to oversee everything, the sprinkler system, and they'll work with your tech lead, obviously, for the security cameras and everything else. Yeah. This position touches every other position, literally.
Right.
At some point in the process.
Yep.
They've got to get with your creative director to make sure all those drapes and those pretty props are fireproof.
Yep.
They've got to get with your builders to make sure your corridors are wide enough, your walls are solid enough. They've even got to get with your marketing director to make sure you're not saying anything stupid in your marketing material that could be dangerous.
Yeah.
Because, yes, marketing does impact safety.
Yeah.
Everything does come back to it at some point. Again, they also got to work with the makeup artist for all the reasons you just talked about. Yeah. Latex allergies suck, people, and some people do not know they have them.
Right. So, Actually, the trick that the person I went to said was put just a little dab in the middle of the elbow because it's in the crook of the elbow because it's the most sensitive part of the skin and it's easy to tell. Leave it there for 10 to 15 minutes, see if it gets red or itchy. And if it does, then don't use latex on that person.
Find something else, the Knox gelatin or something like that.
Yeah. Well, no, but that's for a different reason.
Okay.
That's for a different show.
Okay.
We'll go into that.
All right. Well, I'm not a makeup dude. You're the makeup person.
Basically, that comes off very quickly.
Yeah, I know.
On long nights.
Anyways.
So.
And one thing I would, no matter how many, because the thing is, we listed a bunch of positions here.
Right.
But that doesn't mean, like we said in the beginning, it doesn't mean it's one person per position.
Right.
Sometimes people have multiple positions. Sometimes you need multiple people per job, depending upon the nature of your haunt.
Right. And this is by no means a full list. This is just like the bare minimum that I could think of in a very short period of time. But, like on here is not soundscape artist.
Yeah.
Someone to bring your
music and sound effects.
All of the effects to life,
Yeah. We're not covering these are the higher ups. These are the heads of the haunt.
Yeah.
Your soundscape artist, for example, would probably be working under your creative director.
Right.
If you have a separate one.
And would probably be a consultant, come in, do their thing, and be gone.
Yeah. Or in some cases they would be. The main thing I believe, though, is however large this team ends up being, whether it's 2 people, whether it's 5 people, whether it's 12 people, whatever, they need to get together regularly.
Yes.
I would say during the year, at least once a month.
Yeah.
But in the months around season, when you're actively constructing or you're actively, you're open, weekly.
Yeah.
Because they need to be able to communicate all the issues. And the creative director needs to be able to say, this room's not working out, we need to change it this way, and this way. And that way the build director knows, okay, well, I'll have to construct this. And the safety director can go, are you freaking mad? That will destroy your walkway in that room. Yeah. You can't do that. Well, what if we did this? And
you can't put that chair there.
Are you mad, woman? People will trip.
Yeah.
You can't stick knives and forks into the wall randomly.
Yeah.
Actually, kind of happened.
Okay, so that was a learning experience.
It was quite deliberately.
I let her learn why that was a bad idea.
Yeah, I walked in as it was going on and I was appalled.
Yeah.
Because you were having one of our new trainees at that time.
Very young, creative girl.
Very young, very, very smart and very creative, though. Yeah. And really great energy for the haunt.
Yeah.
And she's been around now. She's helped us out quite a while. But yeah, the first room she helped design, she had an idea. It was really fucking creepy.
She said it would be scary. It was scary, but not for the reason she was
thinking. Was actually scary for other reasons, too. It was genuinely unnerving.
Yes. But she wanted forks and knives stuck into the wall. Yeah,
and I walk in and safety on my brain. The first thing I just see is someone like face planting into it and coming up like, what was it? From the Tiger Lily song. Help me out here.
Oh.
Fidgety Phil couldn't sit still. That's right. Like Fidgety Phil with him sticking out of his body and his face and body. And of course you're there like waving me down. Shh, no.
Yeah.
Don't say anything. So I just turn around and leave the room because I couldn't not.
Yeah.
You are better at not saying things than I am.
Well, I think it's better to learn by doing. And, I did ask if she was sure she wanted to do that before I let her do it.
Yeah.
So then, that got her thinking, okay, well, how can we make this safe? Because, it's scary, but somebody's going to get hurt.
And she actually found a way to make it safe.
Yes.
And still very creepy. I think it was baby dolls, right?
Yes.
We used soft baby dolls. And
the dolls and flowers, dead flower-looking things stapled to the wall.
Yeah, and it actually looked really cool, I thought. It was really
we
neat
put
effect.
red Christmas lights running through the baby doll parts because they were dismembered baby doll parts.
I thought it was really cool. At least.
Yeah.
So it ended up working out quite well, but there was a momentary freak out. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
So still, I think the main thing is it doesn't matter how large this team is. You just have to know who has each of these roles.
Right.
It could. I mean, if you really wanted to be nutso about it, You could be all one person. I really don't know how you're going to sleep tonight, even running just like the small haunt we do.
No, this is the first year I was able to sleep before Halloween.
Yeah, you and I...
Before opening.
Well, I mean, you and I have... And that's just it. You and I have always delegated between the two of us without much problem.
Right.
I do marketing, you do creative design, I do writing. We work on the build together, you know.
Well, and a lot of that's because we do have day jobs and we only could work at night. And a lot of the people who love working with us just weren't available at the hours we were to work.
Yeah. So, but
we've got a great crew now, and they're available, and
I guess,
yay.
But like I said, I guess you could do this all one person, Godspeed, if you have that kind of stamina.
Yeah.
I don't understand it, and I can't fathom it personally, but Godspeed. Like I said, just even our tiny little home haunt, even with two of us doing it, all these hats and all these roles,
right,
it was taxing. I'm so glad we've got some delegation going on. We've been able to find ways to farm out some of these tasks, at least a little bit, and has taken a lot of the pressure off.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things we're thinking about is how much control do you want to centralize into you versus how much you want to delegate out. Be thinking about paid versus unpaid.
Right.
And
also be thinking about people that you can have in charge while the haunt's running in the different sections of your haunt if it's a very big haunt.
Sometimes some haunts call them roam actors.
Right.
That roam from room to room within a certain zone.
Right.
Some haunts call them lieutenants.
Yeah.
That have immediate control over a certain area. Be thinking about those things too. Yes, absolutely. Right. Be thinking about the next tier down, because your creative director / designer can get very overwhelmed if they also have to literally build in every room.
Yeah. Been there.
Looking at you, Crystal. Anyway, so be thinking about that too. But yeah, you need these deciders. You need these I guess you would call these like the C-level positions.
Right.
Of a haunt. Well, I think that's a pretty good wrap. What do you think?
Think so?
Well, I've got nothing else this week. Any final thoughts?
No.
All right. Well, on that note, everyone, I just got what you did. Son of a bitch.
Your name?
On that terrible pun of a note, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Crystal.
And this may be the last Haunt Weekly ever after I go hang myself in a closet. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next week. Maybe.